I'm here to do a watercolor lesson. So in my classroom, when I set up watercolors, I often have some sort of waterproof mat. You can also use some paper towels or newspaper or maybe a regular towel. So I'll put this out. It's the same color as the table today, so it'll blend in. I have to use today a very large paper. This is just an all-purpose art paper, and I'm going to use the side that looks a little bit more rough. It's large. I have this little Crayola watercolor set. Now in the classroom, sometimes I like to use the sets where you can actually take the little pans out, and I will start with just the primary colors, the red, the yellow, and the blue. This set is all connected, so I will not be taking it apart today. I have a collection of paintbrushes. I might, in the classroom, give a suggestion or a choice of a few paintbrushes, maybe not this many, but I will work with all of them today in some way. And I have a little cup that has some water in it for rinsing off my paintbrushes. I'll move my little material tray. Alright, to show you this, I'm going to change to another camera so you have a better view. Here you can see my workspace a little bit more clearly. I'm going to be using the biggest brush at first, and I'll start with a little water. Watercolors are called watercolor because you take a little water and put it on the color, and that is going to release the pigment in the tray that you then can paint with. So one technique is to put water on the paint tray, like this. Ooh, big strokes. You can see, I hope, that I'm actually using up the water on the paint tray. It's getting a little bit more dry. Now, something I like about watercolors is I can also use water on the paper to continue. And look at that, I just spread that color out quite a lot. What if I put some water on the paper? Got the paper really wet. There's not much color there, right? Just a lot of water. Now, let's try some yellow. Put some yellow in here. Where there's... It's a nice light color. The water on the paper is taking the color that I'm putting onto it. What color do you think we're going to get when the red and the yellow mix? Might be able to add a little bit more of both colors and we can see. Take a little closer look at it. There's some very bright yellow right here. Let's add a little bit of red. Ooh, what color do you see coming up? You see that beautiful, oh, there's a focus problem. Do you see that beautiful orange that's starting to appear? I'm going to put some water down here now. make a big patch of water, and this time I'm going to put some blue. Look at how it is traveling if I make the dots. The water is taking the color and moving it. And I can kind of help it a little bit through the water. All I'm doing is I'm just dragging the brush, and I'm starting to get a little bit of purple tendrils as it goes, the blue goes through the red. I think that I will use a different brush now. Look at this one. This one is a little bit more like what you might get in the paint palette. We'll stick with a little bit of blue for the moment. Gonna make some dots. Then do a little bit of red. Then I'll just use the water on the brush to smear my dots. Some interesting things that start to happen. Add a little bit more yellow, big yellow streak right through here. Now what if I'm just going to get this pretty wet. Just going to add a bunch of water. Okay. Now we'll use a bit of a smaller brush here. I'm going to put some more blue on. We're going to see what we get when I tap some blue in here. You see that? Now let's see what happens as it kind of mixes in with the yellow. Again, I'm pulling some of that color. Oh, can you start to see? What color are we getting? Getting a nice teal, a beautiful green color that's coming out. This is why I really love to work with the primary colors at first before adding in any other color. It's nice to really see what we get. I'm going to, back to my big brush here, I'm going to be pulling some color into other places. Ooh, and I've just chosen up. You can still see that faint yellow, but I've really mostly just turned it green now. If you can see that color. Now what I'm going to do with this picture is I'm going to just paint all around. I'm going to make some color over the entire picture, the entire paper. Right now I'm just painting the water again. I really want to put color on the whole thing That's just what I'm deciding to do with this one right now. Now don't be alarmed if your paper starts to curl up the way that mine is. It's wet. It's gonna kind of do that. You can always put something on top of it when it dries. Ooh, I found a new purple color just by mixing the blue and the red down here. So your picture can look like anything you want. You might want to use all the colors in your palette, right? You might want to make a rainbow. You might want to see if you can make a rainbow just with the red and the blue and the yellow. You might prefer a big brush like I'm using, or you might like a little brush. Right? You might want to do even a teeny tiny brush here that has such a little teeny tiny brush head to get little bits of designs. You really are in charge. You can make this whole thing the way you want. Oh, I've got a little visitor. I hope you can see my little kitty. Hi, Zora. I think she likes the water part of the watercolor. Now let's see here. Gonna trail some yellow through here. It's some pretty cool things that happen with watercolors, right? And maybe I'll put a little bit of red through here too. What color do you think they'll all make together? If you put red and blue and yellow all together, I wonder what you would get. Wow. So I've definitely filled up most of my paper here, right? So now you can see my watercolor. If it's really, really wet, I'm not going to want to tilt it because the watercolors will run. I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll be back to show you something else that I'm going to make out of this watercolor. Bye.